Hello, I'm Gaia Vince and welcome to my Homuseum. Today's object is a technology that allowed us to calculate big numbers faster. It's an abacus. So once the numbers that we manipulated became bigger than the number of fingers that we possessed to count them on, people used objects such as beads or small stones to calculate with. And calculate actually comes from the Latin calculus, which means small stone. So using these or mark making allowed us to keep tabs of big numbers, such as the number of goats we were watching. But what about even bigger numbers? So dealing with 1,000 pebbles is not ideal. So people started to represent different orders of units with different size stones. So for instance, the tens might be really small stones, and then medium-sized stones for the hundreds, and then bigger rocks for the thousands. And from here, it's a small step to arrange these loose stones onto a counting board. Now, the first abacus was the first calculator capable of manipulating orders of magnitude like this, and we think it was around by the time of the Babylonians, 2,400 years ago, but we know that it was already in use by Roman times because we found some of these, and among them they've been discovered this lovely metal one with grooves in columns and beads that slide up and down. Now, the name abacus is Latin, but it comes from the Greek word meaning board, probably from the Semitic word abka, meaning to wipe dust. And the Greeks probably got the idea from the Phoenicians. So the Greeks had a dust abacus that was a board of dust or sand, and it was divided into columns with pebbles. But during the Dark Ages, the abacus was largely forgotten, although it was reintroduced by the scientist and later Pope Gerbert d'Aurillac, who used it to make impressively speedy calculations, and that hastened its widespread use by the 11th century. The abacus used in Europe was known as the reckoning table, and it was a board of counters that was really great for addition and subtraction, but anything more complex, it just became very slow and required training to use it. So as a result, mathematicians and astronomers and scientists started performing written calculations and computations using Arabic numerals. And this took over as the way to build arguments in higher mathematics through written equations, using numbers and symbols that build on each other and progress cumulatively. So literate mathematics, writing down equations, sort of evolutionarily developed to enable this, but it's actually a less efficient way of calculating sums than bead counting on an abacus. Trained abacus users can solve multiple math problems much faster than somebody operating a digital calculator. Now, different ways of thinking, when we practice them, actually biologically shape the brain's cognition pathways, and this sometimes involves a cognitive compromise. So in parts of the world where the abacus is regularly used, adults doing calculations in their head mentally construct a virtual abacus to slide beads up and down that solves mental arithmetic problems faster than when the same challenge is given to undergraduates, Western undergraduates that use literate cognition, which is their number words to make calculations. So in other words, humans have invented a technology that shaped their mind's ability to compute numbers. Then another technology that overrode this arithmetic cognition, but allowed them to calculate and manipulate more complex calculations.